The Amazing Ant Colony. A tale of strength, unity, and endless adventure. The drought in Antonia began innocently enough. Streams shrank, and the once plentiful plants stopped producing the nectar the ants depended on. But as weeks turned to months, the drought became a crisis. The ants scurried through the tunnels, their tiny antennae buzzing with worry. Queen Anthea called an emergency meeting in the central chamber. Her voice was calm, but her words carried urgency. "My beloved ants," she began, "we face great trials. Our food reserves are dwindling, and we must find new sources of nourishment. But we are no ordinary colony. We are strong, smart, and united. Together, we will overcome." Her words ignited a spark of determination in the ants. Major Atlas, the strongest soldier ant, stood tall. "We will divide into teams," he announced. "Some will search for food, others will protect the colony, and we'll send scouts to map the farthest reaches of the meadow." The worker ants set out at sunrise, their shiny black bodies glinting in the golden light. Scout Luna led a team toward the distant tree line. With their super-smelling antennae, they discovered a patch of flowers still producing nectar. But reaching it meant crossing a dangerous path patrolled by a swarm of hornets. "Leave this to me," Major Atlas said, stepping forward. His powerful roar echoed through the meadow, sending the hornets scattering. The workers quickly collected nectar and carried it back to the colony, each ant lifting up to 50 times their weight. As they celebrated their success, Luna performed a wiggle dance, directing the ants to nearby resources. Her moves sparked laughter and renewed energy among her companions. Just as the colony adapted to the drought, dark clouds rolled in. Heavy rains battered the meadow, and water began seeping into the tunnels. Panic spread as the ants rushed to save the eggs and larvae from the rising flood. Queen Anthea issued swift orders. "All ants to their posts. Fire ants, form rafts for the young. Builders, fortify the walls. Swimmers, retrieve supplies from the lower chambers." The fire ants linked their bodies, creating living bridges and rafts. Scout Luna braved the rushing water to guide lost ants to safety. Major Atlas carried supplies on his back, even as the currents threatened to sweep him away. The glow-in-the-dark ants illuminated the tunnels, their soft light guiding the workers as they reinforced the chambers. Together, the colony turned chaos into order, proving that teamwork could overcome any disaster. After the flood, Queen Anthea called for an alliance with the neighboring colonies. "Alone, we are strong," she said, "but together, we are unstoppable." The Antonia ants visited the leafcutter ant colony, sharing knowledge about farming and sustainability. They learned how to cultivate fungus gardens, ensuring a steady food supply even in difficult times. Next, they met the weaver ants, who demonstrated their extraordinary nest-building skills. Inspired, the Antonia workers began weaving leaves into protective shelters for their scouts. The alliances brought hope and unity to the meadow. "Ants may be tiny," said Major Atlas, "but when we work together, we're mightier than any storm." One night, a strange glow appeared in the meadow. The ants followed the light and discovered a group of glowing tropical ants stranded after the storm. The newcomers explained that their glow came from special bacteria that lived in their bodies. Queen Anthea welcomed the glowing ants into the colony. Their light helped guide workers during night shifts and even deterred predators. The tropical ants, in turn, admired the Antonia ants' resilience and organization. "We've traveled far," one of them said, "but we've never seen a colony as remarkable as this." Peace was short-lived. A colony of aggressive red ants invaded the meadow, seeking to claim its resources. The red ants were larger and more numerous, and they used their strength to intimidate smaller creatures. Queen Anthea stood firm. "We will not surrender our home," she declared. "We will fight, not with brute strength, but with strategy." The ants devised a plan. While Major Atlas and the soldiers held the front line, Scout Luna led a team to outflank the red ants. Meanwhile, the glow-in-the-dark ants created a dazzling distraction, confusing the enemy. The fire ants formed bridges to trap the invaders, and the workers used their strength to move supplies out of harm's way. After a fierce battle, The red ants retreated, defeated by the Antonia Colony's unity and cleverness. "Victory is not just about strength," said Major Atlas, "but about using your mind and heart." With the drought over and peace restored, the Antonia Colony entered a golden age. They built underground cities with deep chambers for farming, nurseries for their young, and even meeting halls for their alliances. The tropical ants introduced bioluminescent trails, making it easier to navigate the tunnels. Queen Anthea gathered her ants for a grand celebration. "We have faced drought, floods, and invasion," she said, her voice filled with pride. "But through it all, we remained united. This is what makes us strong." As the ants danced and celebrated under the glowing trails, they knew their story would inspire generations to come. For no matter how small they were, they had proven that strength, resilience, and unity could overcome any challenge. Vocabulary words: alliance, a partnership for a common goal. Example: the ants formed an alliance with their neighbors. Bioluminescent, glowing naturally in the dark. Example: the tropical ants created bioluminescent trails. Colony, a group of animals living together. Example: the ant colony worked together to rebuild. Drought, a long period without rain. Example: the drought made food scarce. Resilience, the ability to recover from difficulties. Example: the ants showed resilience during the flood. Glow in the dark, something that shines in the dark. Example: the glowing ants lit up the tunnels. Unity, working together as one. Example: the ants' unity helped them defeat the red ants. Fortify, to strengthen and protect. Example: the workers fortified the tunnel walls. Sustainability, using resources wisely to preserve them. Example: the ants practiced sustainability with their fungus gardens. Triumph, a great victory or success. Example: the colony celebrated their triumph over the invaders.